I'm Master Saturn. Thank you for joining me for another BDSM United podcast in an episode we're calling BDSM Horror Story. Let's look at some of the dirtiest, kinkiest would you rather questions. Would you rather this or would you rather that? I don't think that they're the dirtiest or the kinkiest. Some of them are definitely problematic, but this is from Buzzfeed. Would you rather have sex in front of your parents or have to watch your parents have sex? That's the number one on their list, and that one is plagued with consent issues. Me personally, I don't want to watch somebody have sex, especially if they're not consenting to it. And I don't think any sane parent would consent to having their kids watch them. It's a big on the creepy factor. And we're not going to do kinky things in front of others that are not consenting to see them, but I think it would be less traumatic me having sex in front of my parents. We could blindfold them, put some headphones on them. They would never even need to know what's going on. So, plagued with consent issues there. That one's kind of iffy. BuzzFeed, yeah, you're starting out the gate a little problematic here. Number 2, would you rather be the plus one in a couple's threesome or have a threesome with your significant other and bring in a third? So those are kind of the same thing. Nobody really wants to be the unicorn for another couple. And so while it's somewhat of some people's kink, it's just it's just a sexual thing, and people don't want to be in that kind of relationship, long-term ongoing relationship, because of things like couples privilege, and you always feel like the third. Yeah. And there's always that the things that couples get that like, because they have history together, that the third person doesn't necessarily feel like they're going to get. And sometimes there's some overcompensating. I would say, to me, it's really a problematic situation altogether. There's would I rather I definitely want to have I would definitely rather have a threesome with my significant other and let her bring in someone of her choosing. I'm going to answer that question like that, even though it's problematic and, it's still kind of creepy to me anyways. Even though a lot of swingers are into that kind of thing. A lot of people have those kinds of fetishes and kink that they think that they would enjoy or they do enjoy. It's just not really my thing. Here's an odd one. Would you rather have teeth for hair or hair for teeth? I'd rather have teeth for hair, because having hair for teeth, it would be hard to eat food. And so be kind of yucky having hair in my mouth all the time. Be kind of gagging on my own self in a not sexy way at all. Here is where they start to get a little kinky, BuzzFeed. Here you go. Would you rather have sex while blindfolded or handcuffed? Personally, if it was me having something done to me, I would say blindfolded, because it's going to be hard to accomplish the kinds of rough sex that I like to have if I was the one in bondage. But if it was, would I rather have sex with my partner blindfolded or handcuffed? I would say probably cuffed. I prefer putting her in bondage and then, having sex with her rather than just blindfolding her. Either one would be fine, but we're more of a bondage couple rather than a sensory couple in that way. Would you rather walk around your office or school all day with your favorite porn category labeled on your forehead, or have a vivid sex dream about your boss and have to tell them and the rest of your team about it in detail at the next board meeting? Problematic again here because HR is probably going to would ding me for telling people about whatever dreams I would have, because my dreams would not be sane and rational. They're going to be filled with symbolism and occult shit and stuff, and that people aren't going to understand. Oftentimes, I don't understand my own dreams because they're wild. I would rather have my favorite porn category labeled on my forehead. Not a problem. Don't mind if people know the types of porn that I watch. There's no shame at all for me. And I don't mind answering questions about that. I could do so quite educationally or with no problems whatsoever. Would you rather have your partner only be able to use their hands or their mouth during foreplay? Rather their hands or just their mouth? I would say hands. Well, I love her mouth. Um, I like her hands touching all different kinds of parts, and your mouth can do a lot of touching with parts, but you know, I would say her mouth if I was really trying to assert dominance. If I was really trying to overemphasize or assert dominance, then I would not allow her the use of her hands, and she could only use her mouth, and she would which I've done in a scene. So in especially in the foreplay part. This one's way ouchies right here. Number 7. Would you rather pee a ping pong ball or poop a bowling ball? Ouch. Buzzfeed, ouch. Just saying ouch. Total fan of urethral sounding, but ping pong ball is a little big for that area. Totally a fan of anal stuff and anal stretching. But a bowling ball is way extreme. I would go with, I know it's not asking the question, but definitely I would, if I had to have the reconstructive surgery, I would rather have it from pooping a bowling ball rather than peeing a ping pong ball. That kind of constructive surgery is going to hurt way worse. And why can't we get pooping a ping pong ball for the win there, Would you rather have sex with your worst lay for the rest of your life, or have the most mind-blowing sex once and then never have sex again for the rest of your life? Well, here we go into consent issues, because my partner's never going to consent to not have sex with me ever again. That's not something, that's a choice that they get to have as well. Even though I control her orgasms, that's part of our relationship dynamics, part of our power exchange is that she submits to me so that I will have dominant and rough sex with her. That's part of our power exchange. And so, only, it's just not really a valid question, I would say. If I had to answer this one, I would say the most mind-blowing sex once, never have it again, because that would be with the person I'm with. Would you rather have your parents walk in on you having sex in their bed, or show your parents your entire porn search history? I don't know why this is, like I said, BuzzFeed, why are you so plagued with consent issues? My parents don't want to see either of those things. They still ask me a lot of times, am I into that devil worship stuff? And I don't know if it was a BDSM or did I watch a Harry Potter film. I don't know. They're very religious and they have their own ideas about what things are allowed in the world. I would rather show them my porn search history. They don't want to see me. No parent wants to see their child having sex. That's like that's the weird porn on the weird, totally fictitious, weird porn that is on Pornhub for some reason that I guess some people fantasize about because it is taboo, all that incest kind of thing or whatever. Would you rather never be able to masturbate again or not be able to eat solid foods again? I would. I'm going to eat smoothies. Uh, you know, that's just how it's going to happen. No, I'm not going to eat solid foods ever again. Would you rather have sex in an extremely haunted place or have sex in an extremely dirty place? Yes. Yes, right there. Yes, but yeah, either one's fine by me. I would say an extremely haunted place would be awesome, as long as the energy wasn't just extremely negative. Like if I could kind of gel or vibe with the haunted, with that haunted energy, definitely. Otherwise, a dirty place would be excellent. I don't have to touch anything but my partner in a dirty place. We can keep our shoes on. We can do a little balancing act. I think we could make it work. So that's kind of my take on that. This is a weird one, a Marvel one here. Would you rather 69 with Black Panther on his throne or pleasure yourself with the Winter Soldier's arm while he watches? Well, I'm definitely going to 69 Black Panther on his throne. Logistically, I don't know how that's exactly going to work. Is he sitting on his throne and then I'm, kind of doing a handstand? Not quite sure how that's going to work. But we're both going to be gagging. Would you rather hear dirty talk, but their voice is ridiculously annoying and makes you want to die, or have 100% silent sex? Well, yes. We're going to just go with yes. Dirty talk with someone who's annoying is going to bring out a lot of my sadistic nature. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So every time they make a sound, I'm going to slap the shit out of them. Or, completely silent sex is a wonderful form of mental bondage. I could go for that, where they have to be completely silent, and we both have to be completely silent. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to get to make my partner have to come multiple times while completely silent. That'd be awesome. Would you rather have missionary sex with someone who is horrible, who has horrible breath, or doggy style sex with someone who forgot to wipe their butt after going number 2? Yes. I'm just gonna go with yes. Piggy play. Yes, either one's fine by me. You could have horrible breath or a shitty ass, and either one of them is going to be fine by me. I'm not going to mind as long as I get to connect. I mean, we can do some kinks related to either one of them. And so, this last one here, and then we'll switch kind of topics, segue a little bit. Would you rather always finish blowjobs with cum in the mouth or a facial? Yes, no, but I'm going to say cum in the mouth. That's really both for either giving or receiving. I mean, you can't spill the candy. You got to gobble that shit up. And so, and we'll end with this one here. Would you rather dive into a pool of semen or a pool of blood? I'm going to say a pool of semen. Blood, just, it sounds stickier and, more problematic. I would really have to kind of know where it came from, and I would have to segue with saying human semen or human blood. I'm going to, would have to definitely we had to throw some consent in there. No animals can give consent, and so milking that many animals to get a pool of either one going to be problematic. It's also going to be problematic, probably, getting blood out of humans safely enough to have a pool of it. It's going to be probably hard for the pool of semen to. It's just checking everyone's STI status, just making sure that I'm safe. But I'm gonna go with the pool of semen. Probably impossible to do. And if you hear it in my voice, you're hearing some ethical struggles, and then the reason why you're hearing some of that stuff, even though it's a game, is because BDSM has ethics attached with it, and we have these acronyms that we use to how we approach kinky play. And there's 3 of them that I'm going to just kind of hit with you today. And the 3 of them are SSC, which stands for safe, sane, and consensual. It was one of the first ones, and it's still wildly popular. Then there's RACK, RACK, which stands for risk aware. That's the R and the A. And consensual kink for the C and the K. Then there's PRIC, personal responsibility informed consensual kink, which is, kind of difficult to, add some more letters there. Kind of difficult, and I can understand where they're coming from. I like if we're going to just add and make our own, I'd rather it be dick, duly informed, consensual kink. That works too. It's the same thing, but it's dick instead of prick. It kind of rolls off the tongue. Although a lot of people probably wouldn't know what duly informed means. And so it's basically the same thing as having personal responsibility for being informed. So SSC was the first one, and its 3 letters are safe, sane, and consensual. Safe, meaning that the partners feel a mutual sense of safety when engaging kink with one another. Sane, partners mutually agree on what sane means for them. Sane is what can be somewhat problematic for people who are into edge play, into really taboo things like, are we going to jump in a pool of semen or a pool of blood? Neither of those things is entirely sane. Are we going to have sex in a haunted place or a very dirty place? Still, both of those are probably not exactly sane. And then we have to consider which one of them is safest and how we're going to do it safe. And then consensual. Partners mutually consent to engaging in the kinky activity. And that's one of the first things that we hit up with that BuzzFeed quiz, is that, it was plagued with consent issues. People walking in on you having to show people things that they don't really want to see. It's very problematic. And so SSC, people who were into edge play, people trying to figure out what sane meant for themselves was somewhat a problem. Trying to agree on what sane is, and people from the vanilla world looking from the outside in didn't see any of it as sane. So, born out of the need for something of an ethical standpoint that made more sense and fit better for kinky play, RAC was offered up to the community and became popular. It stands for risk aware consensual kink. Risk aware means that partners have an equal knowledge and understanding of the risks that are involved in the activity. Everything is risky. Everything's a potential horror story waiting to happen. And so how we mitigate those risks and how we try to do things as safely as possible given the risks is a matter of being risk aware, and a matter of knowing and studying and doing your homework and learning the necessary techniques involved to make things safer. setting everything up so that safety is paramount. Again, consensual partners mutually consent to engaging in the kinky activity. And then kink. Not every kinky activity is safe and sane. So acknowledging risk is critical to this approach. And we like to say that it's not kink if everyone isn't getting some type of pleasure or satisfaction out of the activity. So everyone, even if they are on the receiving end, that they should be getting some kind of pleasure out of it, even if that pleasure is pain, for instance. And then, because people wanted to put extra emphasis on risk aware and wanted to make sure that it was really clear that everyone needs to be risk aware, out of that was born PRIC. It stands for Personal Responsibility Informed Consensual Kink. Personal responsibility meaning that partners take personal responsibility for engaging in the kinky activity. Informed because partners proactively educate themselves on the risks that are inherent to the specific activity. Consensual, again, partners mutually consent to engaging in the kinky activity, and kink. Not every kinky activity is safe and sane. Acknowledging risk and taking full responsibility for understanding it is critical to this approach. And again, kink. Everyone should be receiving some type of pleasure from the scene, whether they're giving or receiving, whether they're doing something to someone or having something done to them, or both. That kink is surrounded by not just consent, not just safety, but also pleasure. And so hopefully you'll keep yourself from living some of these ridiculous BuzzFeed this or that's, and you'll approach everything that you see, everything that you hear, that you'll mitigate having your BDSM horror story, that you'll mitigate that through safety, through being risk aware, through considering the risks that are involved, and also considering that everyone is consenting. And consent means that they've explicitly consented to the activity and the activities involved, that they have given their consent, not just blanket, but they've been asked, are these the kinds of things that you're going to want or want to have done to you, that they consent to be in the relationship, that they consent to be involved with all the persons that are involved, and that they consider they're giving consent to see it. And that means that you're having kinky play activities in kinky spaces where everyone around is given their consent to be involved, not just having it in public spaces where everyone may not have consented. Anyways, I am Master Saturn. Thank you for joining me for this BDSM United podcast. If you consent to and you want to be aware of all the risks involved, you can view all of our not safe for work, nasty, uncensored stuff at mastersaturn.com. You can find all of our educational resources and more at bdsmunited.com. It was a pleasure bringing this BDSM horror story to you, and I will talk with you again soon.